What's up guys, this is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Can Summon Legendary Pokemons Part 6. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 20. After about a year, the trio found themselves eventually purchasing their own home rather than hiring chambers out of someone else's. They continued to work various jobs on the side, but their primary source of money came from the eatery they now operated. And, unexpectedly, nothing could have been more enjoyable for the three ex-ninjas. They had gradually taken over the establishment in the first month they had begun working there. Hinata and Yugito were busy making and prepping food, while Naruto and his clones handled the majority of the other tasks, such as keeping the eatery tidy and the register staffed. Because they were doing so well, the boss chose to open a second store and leave the first to them. And, while Naruto, Hinata, and Yugito still worked for him on paper, they were essentially left to operate the business on their own. Yugito stretched and yawned as she walked out of the kitchen. The morning had been sluggish, with only a few clients trickling in for sustenance. Even lunch was sluggish today. Instead of the usual 10 to 20 individuals, there were only about 4. They knew this because the ice was cracking around the harbor and many people were out hauling in the season's first catch. Yugito grinned as he noticed Naruto seemed content with his sluggish day for once. Naruto observed her and asked, "So, do you ever think you'd enjoy running a restaurant this much?" "Never," Yugito said with a tiny chuckle, which was true. "Same," Naruto said, gazing out the window at the harbor where ships were arriving. "Do you think that rebellion we heard about will happen?" Yugito inquired, following Naruto's stare. "Perhaps, but it doesn't really concern us. Doto may be a jerk, but he's left us alone, so I'm not going to take a side just yet if it does," Naruto said as a clone of his cleaned off one of the tables of someone who had just left after paying. "You know we'll have to pick a side soon. Doto's men have already asked us to join them twice," Yugito said, resting against the bar. "Yes, but they also know we're way out of their league in a fight," Naruto said with a grin. And it was true, just because they had been working in a diner for a year did not mean they had neglected their ninja training. Far from it, they would focus on their own skills every day during breaks or after they closed store, keeping them fresh and refining them. Then, because the eatery was only open a few days a week, it was all-day instruction on weekends. In some instances, such as Hinata's, they would attempt to learn new abilities while remaking others. Hinata was unable to use the 64 palm rotation, so she rebuilt it into a far more deadly version than its precursor. Yugito had also begun to transport and meet with her own tailed beast around this period. It was still sluggish going, much like Naruto's conversations with Kyuubi, but they were working on some agreements to make each other's lives simpler. Yugito, on the other hand, was not about to let the cat out of the bag just yet. A bell rang as Naruto went over to the front entrance, smiling and saying, "Welcome to the Snowflake. What would you like for lunch today, and how many will be eating?" "Just us two, and basic cub sandwiches," the guys replied as they conversed.
"All right," Naruto said, motioning them to a seat.
He was soon back at the counter after accepting an order, while Yugito rushed back to rapidly prepare the dinners for the two guys. Naruto sighed as he listened to the few various individuals in the building when something grabbed his attention.
"Do you think those leaf ninja will be able to protect Princess Yukie?" a masculine voice asked.
Naruto opened his eyes, peering around for who spoke, and his gaze quickly focused on the two he had just sat. "Yes, I am certain of it. I would not have hired them otherwise. Team 9 is currently considered the best team," said the other guy, Sandayu. "And is it true they have other reasons to visit this land?" inquired the other man. "I'm not sure. I asked the team's leader and sensei, Might Guy, about it, and he said he didn't have any, but Neji, one of his students, might. Though I'm not sure why you sent me that message to ask that of the team that I got to help us from the leaf," Sandayu said, slightly perplexed. "It's because the people who run this restaurant aren't your typical group of employees," the responder explained. "How so?" Sandayu inquired, peering around and noticing Naruto staring out the window towards the port once more. "Because the one at the register and the blind one who cooks at both used to be leaf ninja," Sandayu replied, sighing. "Then why does it matter if they are likely willing to help former teammates?" Sandayu inquired, puzzled and slightly irritated. Their conversation was cut short when Naruto arrived with their meal. Sitting it down, he couldn't help but think, "That's because of why we left. Because Sandayu, we will need more manpower than just what that team you hired has," he said, sighing again. "Singe, you're taking a big risk if you think we'll help," Naruto said as he took a seat and recognized the second guy. Yes, but what would you have done differently? Shinji inquired, pivoting to face Naruto. No, I probably would not have, Naruto groaned. So tell me about you and your friends, Sandayu groaned. I must admit I haven't heard anything at all, even if you are as powerful as Shinji claims. The three of us all hail from two different villages. Hinata and I are from the Leaf Village, while Yugito is from the Cloud Village. When I was banished and forced to leave for allegedly messing up another ninja's mission, Hinata quit being a ninja and joined me, and we set course for here. Then en route through the land of lighting, we picked up Yugito, who was forced into the life of a missing ninja when her own mission went wrong, Naruto. And your abilities? Sandayu inquired. We could probably beat any Leaf Village team you hired, Naruto said. I see. Would you be willing to assist us? Sandayu inquired. It depends on who is on the team you've hired, Naruto explained, and whether our manager is willing to let us take a few days off. He would. I talked to him before bringing Sandayu here, Shinji said. It's still unclear which team he hired, Naruto said. Team 9 consists of Guy, Neji, Lee, and Tenten, Sandayu explained. I see, Naruto said, nodding and massaging the bridge of his forehead. I will talk to Hinata and Yugito to see if they want to help. Thank you, Sandayu said as he and Shinji resumed dining as Naruto returned to the kitchen. Naruto dodged as he entered the kitchen, a meat knife passing directly over his head. This was standard procedure in this kitchen, as when Yugito or Hinata required something, they would cry out for it, and if the other had it, it would be tossed to the other. Fear of being struck by whirling blades was a minor reason why no one else was prepared to deal with them. In this instance, Hinata snagged it just before it struck the wall and continued cutting up some beef for that night's special. Hinata and Yugito, we have a special request, Naruto said, drawing their attention. What could that be, Naruto? Hinata inquired, not taking her gaze away from the beef she was preparing. Like Doto henchmen, we have been asked to join the rebellion. However, unlike the Doto side, we have been asked to join them by their current leader Sandayu, Naruto explained. I don't see why we should, Hinata grumbled. Yes, but here's the catch. They have the princess with them to help lead the rebellion, and to make matters even more difficult, if we join, we'd have to work with a ninja team from the Leaf Village, Naruto said as the room fell silent. Hinata came to a halt and glanced at Naruto before exhaling and putting down the meat knife, inquiring, who? Naruto merely stated, Team 9, your cousin's team. I see, fine, we can help them, Hinata said as she threw an onion into the air before shearing it in a flash with chakra strands. Why do you want to help them? Yugito inquired, slightly startled by Hinata's response. Because it is time for the Leaf Village and my clan to realize what they lost when they banished you, Naruto, Hinata smiled, turning back to the group before hurling the meat cleaver at Yugito. What makes you think they'll care? Or even try to send a squad or two to try and collect you? Yugito squinted. Because if we work directly with the princess for this mission, we will have her direct protection when she becomes the new leader, and if the lead tries anything, they will risk war with the Land of Snow, Hinata explained. That reason is rather questionable if it happens, Naruto said. Perhaps, but we also know that short of an Anbu team, we should be able to take down just about anyone who comes against us even without her permission, Hinata said with a slight grin as Naruto and Yugito nodded in agreement. So we'll help then? Naruto inquired. Yep, I'd like to, Hinata said. I suppose I'll pitch in as well, Yugito said. Okay, I'll let them know we'll help them, and be ready to leave tomorrow, Naruto said before cloning himself and having it exit the eatery to inform their boss of the decision. Naruto then returned to the main course of the meal and grinned at the two as Sandayu asked, So, are you willing to help? Yes, we are willing to assist, Naruto replied, but we won't be ready to go until tomorrow morning, is that okay with you? That would suffice. We still needed to get the snowcats ready to go and loaded up, Sandayu said, beaming as he took another mouthful of his sandwich. Alright, where shall we meet up then? Naruto smiled. But before Naruto could respond, all of Team 9 paused upon seeing Naruto step in through the front entrance. Lee and Guy both looked pleasantly surprised, Tenten seemed perplexed as to why Naruto was here of all locations, and Neji glanced at Naruto slightly irritated. Welcome to the Snowflake, would you like a table or a fight? Naruto said, beaming. Neither, I was just looking for Sandayu here, but it's a pleasant surprise to see you here Naruto, Guy smiled. Similarly, I was just learning about your mission from your friends here, and was recruited with my team to assist you, Naruto said as he approached the register to pay. Really now, and why does he think we need more help? Tenten was perplexed. Because Singe here, Sandayu's friend, has seen my own team train, Naruto chuckled after greeting the client. You make it appear as if your team is stronger, Neji said, mildly irritated at Naruto. Yes, we would, though I might ask, Neji, what are you so upset about? Naruto questioned. Because you kidnapped Hinata from the Leaf Village in retaliation for your exile, Neji grumbled. Oh, that's what they say about Hinata leaving, Naruto remarked, surprised. Yes, now return her, Neji said, taking a position. Do we really have to fight? Murmured Naruto, resting against the bar, slightly irritated. Yes, as long as you don't show me to her right now, Neji said. As if in reaction to Neji's warning, a rather big steak knife flew out the kitchen door at him. Naruto witnessed it pass through the center of the table and directly by Neji, who was trimming his hair, before abruptly changing course and returning to the kitchen. Everyone's attention was drawn to the kitchen entrance, where Hinata was clutching the knife that had just sailed across the room. She was dressed simply and wore an apron with metal rings on it where she kept other blades before inserting the knife she had just tossed into one of the 2 available spaces. Hello cousin, why are you trying to start a fight in this restaurant? Hinata asked angrily. Neji stared. This was not the same Hinata who had been kidnapped nearly a year before. I am not. Naruto refused to return you, so I decided to find out by force. Guy blinked, noting that Neji appeared to be retreating from that gaze. Guy then glanced at Hinata and squinted, noting something different about her, and it wasn't just the way she held herself. She was more strong than before, given the feat she just performed with the kitchen knife. I see, Hinata replied as she returned to the kitchen. Neji squinted, surprised. This was not the Hinata he remembered. She would never have been that threatening or strong, let alone ready to assault him apparently out of nowhere. Neji then heard some giggling and turned to look at Naruto, who was attempting not to chuckle at seeing that scene. What's so funny? Tenten wondered. To see Hinata put down Neji that quickly without even laying a hand on him other than with a kitchen knife of all things, Naruto said, regaining control of himself as he continued, but as you can see, Hinata is not under my control at all. So trying to make her leave this place might be very bad for your health, Neji. As you can see, she is no longer the weak girl you once thought she was. Though she still ranks lower than me or our other teammate in terms of skill and strength, so you can guess how strong the team is considering she just basically beat you, Neji, Naruto smirked. We see and thank you for your assistance, Guy said, gesturing to Sandayu, and we will be waiting at the docks for your return because you are in more than safe hands. Welcome to the Snowflake. May I take your order for the day? Naruto grinned as more people entered the eatery. Welcome to the Snowflake. May I take your order for the day? As they waited for the ships to depart the harbor city, Naruto groaned. They were supposed to travel in the bus-like vehicles up into the highlands, luckily with the director and Sandayu. Similarly, the director was taken aback when Sandayu revealed that Naruto's squad would be accompanying them. He had immediately noted that no one in Naruto's company was sporting a headband that identified them as a ninja from any village. He also observed 3 cooking blades at Hinata's and Yugito's sides. When he inquired about this, Sandayu pointed out that Naruto's squad was made up of former samurai who now operated an eatery. He nodded, wondering if they were there to cook or to guard. Naruto had stated that they would be there for both because they were both accomplished ninja and chefs. They were only there at Sandayu's behest, and for no other purpose. So, Naruto, do you think we'll be attacked by Guy's team? Yugito inquired as the conveyance began to move. No, not really. If they did, it would be near the end of the mission, when they are leaving, so they could strike quickly, grab Hinata, and flee, Naruto said, reclining back in his position. Neji shouldn't try anything, Hinata warned, taking out one of her blades and inspecting the blade for sharpness. I doubt he'd be able to survive, Yugito said, looking over at Hinata. Oh, he'd live, but only because I don't want Leaf Hunter Ninja after us, Naruto said, turning to face Hinata. Yes, he will live, Hinata agreed. Hinata had altered dramatically in the previous year. This was imparted to Yugito's own instruction with her, first breaking her out of her isolation, then sowing seeds of hatred against her own bloodline. Though Naruto was certain those emotions had already existed, Hinata now despised much of what her clan stood for and how it operated. Her hatred for caged bird seals had not vanished, but had grown. I'm guessing he'll be less of a man than before, Yugito inquired. No, I'll show him why I'm no longer a weak person, Hinata shrugged, and then I'll send him packing. You were never weak, Naruto said casually, you just didn't want to actively attack anyone, but rather heal them. That is a big difference, Hinata. Depends on your point of view, Naruto, Hinata rolled her eyes as she sheathed the sword. So, how are we going to deal with Doto? Naruto inquired, shifting the topic. You use your summons to destroy his castle, forcing him out into the open, and then Yugito kills him while I guard Koyuki, Hinata smiled. Rather simple, but effective, Naruto considered. There is one minor issue, however. We know nothing about Doto's guards, and Doto himself is rumored to wear armor better than their own, Yugito pointed out. That's why I'm sending both of you out instead of myself. Naruto can deal with anything that prevents him from destroying the castle, whereas you, Yugito, have a better chance against him and his guards if the rumors about this, chakra armor, are true, Hinata explained. You don't think your taijutsu style will work against it? Naruto inquired. Not if it repels chakra, jutsu, or ranged weapons, as the rumors claim, Hinata said, all of which my taijutsu heavily employs. Well, you do have a point there, Yugito admitting the issue. Hinata nodded as the bus pulled away from the harbor. It would be a 5-hour trip to their first halt, which would be outside an ancient railway tunnel. It was a remarkably peaceful journey, as nothing out of the ordinary occurred. As they passed through the railway tunnel, the director, who was in the lead, determined that the site was not ideal for filming the next section of the film. The vehicle did not come to a halt, but instead proceeded directly through to the other side of the passage. When they got to the other side of the culvert, the vehicle drew over to the side of the road. Everyone soon exited, and the film team set about preparing the next film scene. Naruto and his crew were exploring the area around them as they set up the scenarios. It was fairly obvious that if Doto attacked, it would be at this position, where they were shut off from any simple escape or assistance. Yugito was the first to realize something was wrong when they returned from reconnaissance. Steam was rising from the ice in 4 lengthy lines. Soon, long segments of iron protruded from beneath the snow and ice, exposing the tracks for the train that once passed through the area. Sandayu observed as well, and while conversing to himself, he inspected the tracks in astonishment. Naruto's squad arrived just in time to hear him scream for everyone to hide because Doto was approaching. It appears that our plan of attack will be futile, Naruto said. So it appears, Hinata said as she returned to where Sandayu had gone to keep Princess Koyuki secure. Sandayu then did something unexpected. He opened a blade. Seeing Hinata's astonishment, he grinned. I said I was a bodyguard, and anyone, not just ninja, can learn to use chakra. Fair enough, Hinata said as Naruto and Yugito prepared to confront the adversary. Naruto glanced around by the train and observed Guy and his team were nowhere to be found, prompting him to question, did you see where Guy's team went? I think they moved back to guard the movie staff, Yugito said, returning his gaze to where everyone else was hiding. I see, well, do you want me to make sure everyone is really safe then? Naruto jumped back as they heard the train coming out of the passage. Yes, but let's see how good our guess is first, Yugito said as a locomotive came to a halt in front of them. The engine and carriages used all 4 tracks and were about 250 feet long in total. The train appeared to be free of ninja and was hauling a passenger car, while the remainder of the cars were cargo cars with snow ninja in guns. Naruto counted at least 12 guns aimed directly at him. Then they heard a voice coming out of a voice booster from the front of the train. It has been a long time, Koyuki, a voice that Naruto and Yugito immediately recognized as Doto said, and I will give you one chance. Bring the hex crystal to me, or I will destroy you and anyone who is protecting you. I must say, I'm surprised you think you can order me around, Koyuki said, staring at Doto. Fine, I can work with that, Doto said over the speakers, mumbling something incomprehensible. Each of the train carriage's sidewalls opened, showing a slew of holes from which kunai emerged, shooting directly towards Koyuki and Naruto's party. Naruto scowled, swiftly making a large number of shadow clones in a line near Koyuki and anyone else in risk of being struck. Style of the 122nd, glass wall, the clones and Naruto said in unison. This caused them to raise and lower their palms. Doto only chuckled at this until the kunai heading towards the group came to a halt and rebounded off an almost invisible wall. Naruto and his clones leapt up, creating more barriers that fully stopped the kunais. Naruto smiled as his clones disappeared. This was one of the more potent protective skills he had learned to employ as a result of learning this Pokemon's own form. Doto stared at his own assistants and the samurai on the train, screaming, "Wipe them out." 60 or more samurai jump into the air, prompting Naruto to grin even wider before adding, "Yugito, I got these few." Okay, Yugito said, leaping back further as flames began to fly around Naruto. Style of the 25th, thunder, Naruto explained. The heavens darkened quickly before a flash of lightning hit Naruto. Everyone expected Naruto to perish, but as the burst of light from the strike of lightning struck the earth faded, They saw Naruto was surrounded by electricity. Naruto grinned before striking a group of rushing ninja with his hand. The electrical current erupted from his body, burning anyone it came into contact with and reducing them to charcoal. Only 3 of the attackers managed to escape his initial onslaught. "I think those 3 are yours," Naruto said, turning to Yugito, and all handled Doto. Doto launched another jutsu at Naruto, which he totally missed. Naruto wasn't positive who had taught Doto to battle, but whoever had done it had done a bad job, at least in terms of targeting. Doto couldn't make a single blow on Naruto no matter what, and his motions were erratic. Doto's only smooth movement was the hand signals to his jutsu, and even those were not quick enough to keep up with Naruto's pace. Naruto whirled around again, leaping away as another Dragon Blizzard jutsu whizzed by. He only needed an opportunity to end this battle. While Doto was too sluggish to strike Naruto, he was built like a fortress and was twice as quick at deflecting oncoming attacks. Naruto then looked over to Yugito, who appeared to be bored as well. The 3 ninja she was up against were competent overall and made a strong team, but her quickness, like Naruto's, made her more than a match for the 3. Naruto deflected yet another Dragon Blizzard jutsu and determined it was time to put an end to this by creating a few openings. He strode quickly forward, charging a Rasengan in each hand. The Rasengan slammed into Doto's chakra armor barrier and began grinding against it. Doto, while shielded from the assault itself, was nearly forced back a foot as his armor-made barrier moved slightly. He swung his hand and hit Naruto in the midriff, sending him reeling. Naruto groaned slightly, but the attack appeared to do the work he required, harming the chakra systems within the suit that formed the barrier that shielded Doto from projectile and jutsu attacks. It had also ideally depleted Doto's energy stores, so he could no longer discharge Dragon Blizzard jutsu almost indefinitely. "Got you, kid," Doto smirked. "Yes, a light hit, but only because I let you," Naruto smirked as he stood up. "You keep telling yourself that, kid," Doto said, staring at Naruto's insult. "Alright, in the meantime, I think I'll finish this battle right now," Naruto said. "Yeah right kid," Doto said, running through the hand signals again, but this time they were slightly different. "Agility, style of the 212th, Naruto explained. As Naruto spoke, Doto struck forward, unleashing twin Dragon Blizzards. As he moved, Naruto became nothing more than a dark mist. Doto's dragons lacked the speed and skill required to catch the blonde-haired ninja as Naruto raced around. Naruto grinned as he used his speed to strike Doto in the torso and send him soaring. "Well, it appears you were mistaken," Naruto smirked as he paused for a few seconds. Doto snarled as he rose from the ground and charged forward to strike Naruto. And while he was not facing the strike, the force he had behind it would be equivalent to a train if it struck. Naruto grinned and changed his posture. After all, in Naruto's view, there was only one way to confront such power: straight on. "Style of the 139th, Hyper Beam," Naruto said before delivering a hand strike. A stream of pure energy launched from Naruto's palm, going straight for Doto. Doto didn't even attempt to avoid the attack. His trust in his chakra barrier was too powerful for him to believe he was in peril. The projectile collided with the barrier, and it appeared that the shield would withstand the assault. Doto's chakra barrier collapsed in and gave out, making the sound of shattering glass. The ray collided with Doto, sending him hurtling backwards until the power of the assault drove him into the earth, killing him. The battle between Yugito and the other ninja came to a stop as the 3 ninja were taken aback by the strength of the strike that had just finished off Doto. Yugito took advantage of the opportunity to dispatch the first 2 before the third. The trio's commander ducked away. She waited for his next move, which was actually quite easy. Naruto was accused. Naruto shook his head, avoiding the ninja's strike and throwing his own, and the ray from before jumped out and struck the ninja. Even though the ray was nowhere near as strong as before, it still murdered the samurai in the same way it had Doto. Naruto acknowledged, seeing that the samurai and Doto had been vanquished, and turned to face Yugito, who waved. Later that day, they reached in the village where Sandayu had said the erstwhile soldiers still faithful to Koyuki lived. It turned out that no one in town had received word that Koyuki would be following the path she had chosen. They stayed in town for a week before Naruto's and Gai's teams returned to the harbor city. This was done so Koyuki could focus on regaining control of the nation and completing the film she was in. "I'm going to be relieved when Neji's team finally leaves," Hinata said for the umpteenth time. They were on their way back from the harbor to their house. They were moving slowly today because it was a little warmer than usual. "You're not the only one. I've seen him staring at us non-stop since we got back," Yugito said. "I am certain he will make a move to reclaim me," Hinata predicted. As they went back to the eatery, Naruto groaned and closed his eyes. Hinata and Yugito had been talking about this for the past 20 minutes, and it was growing tired. Not because it was false, but because Hinata kept saying the same things. Naruto knew this was an indication of her nervousness and irritation, but he couldn't help but be irritated by Hinata. "Would you please drop it, Hinata?" Naruto requested. "Drop what?" Hinata inquired, perplexed. "Your concern about Neji, you've been talking about it for nearly 20 minutes now, and we all know he'll make a move, but we also know he can't take on any of us in a fight," Naruto explained. "I haven't been talking about this for 20 minutes, Hinata countered. "Yes, you have. It is a 21-minute walk to our office." "We're almost there," Naruto said, pointing out the eatery from the port. Hinata blinked and glanced around, realizing this was true. She returned her gaze to Naruto and exhaled, "I guess you're right. It's natural to be nervous, but you know as well as I do that you can take him on, and what happened to the Hinata, which was going to leave Neji an inch from death?" Naruto questioned. "She went skiing with the princess," Hinata explained, rolling her eyes. "Okay, call her because she's going to be needed," Naruto said as he came to a halt and gestured to someone in their way further up the road. "What a surprise that you have come to say goodbye, Neji," Hinata exclaimed, seeing who Naruto was looking at. "Hinata, you are to return to the Leaf Village immediately by order of your father and the Hyuga elders," Neji said. "Do you think I care who orders me back? Nice try, Neji," Hinata said, her nerves gone and her anger rapidly returning. "If you don't want to go, I'll force you," Neji said. "Are you sure you can do that, Neji?" Naruto inquired. "I'm confident I can bring Hinata in, it's her fate," Neji said. When he said it was her destiny, this only elicited a mild chuckle from Naruto's squad. They agreed to chuckle at what destiny would ordain, and Neji looked perplexed and irritated. He had no idea that if they had followed what would have been their destiny, they would not be here now. "Neji, you really need to give up your fate support. I've already proven that fate does not rule our lives," Naruto smirked. "Really, where is your proof?" Neji questioned, taking a position. "Simple really, with my never-ending school failures, I was well on my way to being genin for life, but I changed that. Yugito would have stayed a ninja of the hidden cloud, as one of their most loyal supporters, but she was kicked out of the village for what she is. Hinata would have been branded with the caged bird seal, had she not left," Naruto said, noticing Neji assuming a stance. "And how do you know what fate has in store for you?" Neji inquired. "Here, let me answer a question with a question. How do you know what fate has in store for you?" Hinata questioned, slipping into her own posture as she directed energy into the snow with her feet. "Simple, I've seen what my destiny is in other branch members of the Hyuga many times over, and now I shall defeat you," Neji said, rushing forward only to stumble and collapse on his face. "You should really watch where you're walking before you start proclaiming this," Hinata said, almost chuckling at his own stumble. Neji blinked and opened his eyes, noting Hinata's energy being directed into the snow on the ground. She appeared to be steadily squeezing it, causing ice to develop all around her. He gingerly got back up and directed energy into the snow, giving him a solid grip. He didn't want to tumble again. "Nice trick, but if that's all you've got, you'll fail as always," Neji said as he rushed forward again. Hinata smiled as she watched him advance forward, ready to strike, but he leapt back, his face flushed with astonishment and a hint of terror. Hinata squinted, slightly perplexed. After all, Neji was about to assault her, so there was no cause for her to be afraid. When she and the others heard murmurs around her, they realized something was behind them. Naruto and Yugito both turned around when they observed these objects. An enormous monster unlike anything they had ever seen stood behind them. Naruto felt he should know what it was, but before they could react, tendrils of energy shot out from the monster and caressed Naruto's, Yugito's, and Hinata's heads before disappearing from the world with them. Neji looked in disbelief for a few minutes before recognizing he was way out of his element and heading for the boat, knowing the elders in Tsunade would want to know. To be continued.
That's it for this part, guys. Thank you for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this horror story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.